The method that we recommend, or that we recommend for getting out of debt, is called the snowball, and it's where you list your debts from smallest to largest, and you're basically ignoring the interest rate for the most part, and you're working through them in that manner, and you are paying off the smallest one first, throwing every dot, and you're making minimum payments on everything else. And then when you pay off that small $200 credit card or whatever it may be, then you take that $200, that payment that you were throwing towards that one, and you throw it towards the $1,000 Stuart credit card or whatever that one may be, and then so the point of it is that you're changing the behavior and you're having little victories, and so eventually you build up a bunch of momentum and you really have things rolling, and maybe you and a spouse or whatnot. You're feeling these victories, and so you're really getting into it. That's the best way that over the long term people have seen and had success with getting out of debt. And this doesn't make sense to a lot of people, because they're like, well, why wouldn't I pay off the highest interest rate first? Well, that's correct if you were just looking at it from a math standpoint, but getting out of debt and establishing good behaviors with money is not so much about the math, it's more about the behavior. So
yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, a lot of times we think that, well, these are habits that I already have. Maybe some of you are already to the point where you have a good emergency fund, you're not in debt, you have no debt whatsoever, and you think, well, these are things I don't need to worry about. But I'll caution you, because I have a client who recently was divorced. And in that divorce, he racked up a whole lot of credit card debt. And we talked about what he did earlier in life to get out of debt. And it was similar to this situation. So we were able to go through all of that. And he was able to implement that. And Brian's exactly right. It's not about the math as much as it is the psychology. He was able to pay off one credit card, which was allowed him to pay off another credit card, because he was able to snowball that money right into the next one. And it worked fantastically for him. And I got a call from him this last week saying that, hey, I've got the last credit card paid off. I've got a couple of lawyer bills I've got to pay, but otherwise I'm going to be debt free here in a little while. And he was really happy about that. So.
Great story. And it helps like that, have somebody like Stuart or a friend to have an accountability partner to share those victories with, and give you those encouraging words that you need when maybe the task at hand seems insurmountable. A couple of things to really keep away from that keep people from not acquiring any wealth. One would be car payments. You hear today people having just astronomically, $500 a month car payments for 6, 7, 8 years, and it's like, when you start doing the math on, what a $500 car payment invested over the course of 20, 30, 40 years, it's like $3, $4, $5 million, and it's like, well, hope you like your car because it cost you $5 million. As compared to saving up, even if it's a couple $100 a month, and buying some for cash, even if it's just I think the technical term is a hoopty, would be a something where it has a car that has a name and a couple different colors on it. Maybe everything doesn't match, but you got to you have to do these sacrifices in order to get ahead with things. So moving along to mortgages. You want to make sure you get all of your debts paid off before you get into owning a home, so that way you make sure that the home doesn't own you, you own it. Because if you've got 4 different payments going out the door in the form of debt, and then you move into a house, you don't have any money in the bank, you can about guarantee as soon as you move in, you're going to have $10,000 worth of stuff that's going to be replaced, and that's how you get behind on mortgage payments and all sorts of trouble. A really good goal to shoot for is to save up 20% for a down payment, and either doing like a 15-year mortgage or even doing bi-weekly payments on it is going to save you a fortune in interest over the long term. And and also the idea is to not have a house payment for your whole life. So you can, when you get the house paid off, you can have that extra money to save up for ramp up your retirement savings towards the end of your working life. So a couple things to watch out for would be, VA loans can be really, really expensive, and they don't require anything down. And so that's why a lot of times in military towns you'll see, de facto landlords that have rental properties all over the place, because if you're not putting anything down, it's a good way to get yourself in trouble, and owning a bunch of rental properties that you did not plan on owning. And also adjustable rate mortgages, you can end up kind of get yourself in a lot of trouble as well, because especially right now, I mean, if you're ended up, we're at nothing interest rates, so there's only one way for interest rates to go up. So kind of a rule of thumb is, as far as how much house can you buy, a quarter of your take-home income, factoring your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Or another way to look at it is maybe 2 to 2.5 times your household income. So